Welcome back to the second episode of the World of Coordinates. So when we talk about the projection itself, at the end of the day, the reason for it is so that we can map ourselves accurately on a particular location on that map, or measure distances and other measurements like areas properly. But the inherent problem with projection is that they all cause distortions. But something that I didn't talk about in the last episode, but I'll do that very briefly in here, that every projection that you do, there's hundreds and hundreds of them, they cause some sort of distortion, and these distortions are classified as these projections properties. So some projections cause distortion in area, as you can see in these ones. The area, you will not calculate area from these projections. So that's one category. The second category is that the projections, they distort the shape, and it could be deliberate or it could be sort of unintentional because you're trying to preserve the area or you're trying to preserve another property of a projection, but you end up losing the shape. In this particular example, you can see that the Greenland has been projected in 6 different projections, 6 different types, and it looks completely different, in whatever you want to project it. So you have to remember that you will lose your shape if you try to hold on to another property of your projection. But these projections can also distort distances and direction sometimes. Distances in this case, that you see Madison in the middle of that circle, and a straight line has been drawn from Madison to Madrid and Madison to Buenos Aires. Now, visually, those two lines look exactly the same distance, suggesting that on that map, the distance is pretty much the same. But it's actually, if you look at the reality, that the real distance from between Madison to Madrid is around 6,780 kilometers, while from Madison to Buenos Aires, it's just over 9,000 kilometers, and that's a difference of around 2,500 kilometers. However, on the map, it looks the same. And I'll tell you that it will measure the same as well. So you've got to be careful about sort of what projection you choose, because either you can get your areas wrong, you can get your shape completely defined wrong, like in Mercator projections, normally you see that. But you also can get your distances and directions wrong. And you don't really want to be doing that if you're using that particular map projection for certain measurement or navigation, for example. So just to sort of finalize that projection bit, that when you think about a projection, and this, again, I'll keep reiterating the hundreds and hundreds of them, there are two families of their properties, the major properties and minor properties. And major properties really look at the area and the shape. And sadly, they are mutually exclusive. I mean, you cannot maintain the shape and the area at the same time while mapping the whole globe. It's simple as that. So if somebody else tells you that that's possible, it is not possible. On a local sort of a country level or a county level or even a lesser area, that is possible to keep these two area and shape. But globally, when you take that 3D world and project it into 2D plane, not possible. You will keep your area and you lose your shape. And if you try to sort of keep hold of your shapes, then you will actually distort your area. On the other hand, the minor properties, the distance and the direction, you can get them right, both of them, distance and direction, get them right in a certain part. But what happens is that in other parts of your map, you will lose that. So you've got to be careful again that if your projection is designed to measure distances and directions in a certain area, then please only measure it in that certain area. Because as soon as you go beyond that area, like in a different country or in a different part of the world, the same projection will not give you the right correct distances, okay, or directions. So you've got to keep in mind these projection properties. And every projection that is ever published, it will have these properties associated to it. So either they will try to keep the shape or they will try to keep the area. Normally, the shape, the conformal projections are used in cartography, so map drawing. So they want to keep the shape intact. So you can actually get a visual perception of the object appropriately.